Yeah, hi everyone. This is threading concept, which is part one is already there in my video. This is part two. So if you're watching this video for the first time, I requested you guys go and watch that threading part one. I'll make it part one and part two now. And the pink slide is the part one for now. So yeah, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and click on the notification button so that you will get notified whenever I'll upload a video. And this is a core Java interview series which is going on, and you can get enrolled into my session as well for these questions and answers who is new to this journey, and those who are transitioning their background or they wanted to come into testing background. I think there will be a lot of sessions going on which we are giving it in very nominal prices or nominal charges. And yeah, so I think let's quickly go ahead with this video wherein we explain a lot of threading concept. And if you want this slide, comment down right now. Don't comment me after 2-3 months. So if you're watching it after 2-3 months, I'm not able to give you the slide. So you know what you have to do. And before commenting, if you want me to give you the slide, just like my video. Yeah, thank you. And even you can share this video for the required one, like who needs this video as a developer. So what is synchronization? So synchronization, we might heard about a lot of process have synchronization in our day-to-day life. Also we'll be come across this word, but in the computer language there is a synchronization is a process of controlling the access of shared resources like instance variable, static variable, etc. So by multiple threads in such a manner that only one thread can access one resource at a time. So non-synchronized multi-threaded applications, it is possible for one thread to modify a shared object while another thread is in the process of using or updating the object value. Synchronization prevents such a type of data corruption. Then now maybe we'll be having some one-liner questions and answer wherein I have told you like people will have some list of questionnaire in that those questions one-liner answers. And even from your answer, if you come across this topic, if you have mentioned that into interview, and if that role is required, these kind of things, that knowledge, this questionnaire will definitely be there, and you have to answer it into the standard format. You cannot tell them the story or an example, yes or no, and that's all. If they ask you how and all, then only you can explain. So can the variable or classes be synchronized? No, only methods can be synchronized. Why would you use a synchronized block versus synchronized method? Synchronized block plays locks for shorter period, fine-grained locking, then synchronized method. It's a mix of things. That's why we can ask, if you can ask in the slide, I think that will really help you out. So whether there is a slide is needed, I'll definitely give you the slide. Where there is no, like there is a less of information and more of the information which I'm giving it by sharing my knowledge, I think that is not worth it actually. So I'll immediately delete those slides. So what is the difference when the synchronized keyword is applied to the static method or to a non-static method? So when a synchronized non-static method is called a lock is obtained on an object. So when a sync static method is called a lock is obtained on the class, not on the object. The lock on the object and the lock on the class don't interfere each other. If that it means if a thread is accessing a sync non-static method, synchronized non-static method, then the other thread can access the synchronized static method but can't access the synchronized non-static method. This little concept it's a confusing concept, but this is really good to know, like if you're knowing more about it. This is like synchronized keyword where can apply in terms of static and non-static method. This is a very important concept and it's really interesting also. If you wanted to go deep dive into it, you can surely go and understand the concept and it will really help you out in terms of your coding. So a class can have both a synchronized and a non-synchronized method. Yes, class can have both synchronized and non-synchronized method. So if a class has a synchronized method and a non-synchronized method, can multiple threads execute the non-synchronized method? Yes, multiple threads can access the non-synchronized method. So can a thread call multiple synchronized method on the object of which it holds the lock? Yes. Once thread acquires a lock in some object, it may call any other synchronized method of that same object using the lock that is already holds. Can static method be synchronized? Yes, as a static method are a class methods and have only one copy of static data for the class. Only one lock for the entire class is required. Every class in Java is represented by java.lang.class instance. The lock on this instance is used to synchronize the static method. So can two threads call two different static synchronized methods of the same class? No. The static synchronized method of the same class always block each other as only one lock per class exists. So no two static synchronized method can execute at the same time. Okay. So when it is static, it won't be changed, right? So there are two stacks are not running at the same time. Okay. Does a static synchronized method block a non-static synchronized method? No. As a thread executing the static synchronized method holds a lock, because that will not change and that will go because there is no update. So some things will definitely gonna run because that is static for all, it's not only for one. So it's lock on the class, and the thread executing the non-static synchronized method holds a lock on the object on which the method has been called. So these two locks are different, and these threads do not block each other. And now this is the one which I've told you in this one, that what is the difference between yield and sleep. Okay, so I think we get into that diagram again and we understand that the thread life cycle. We have these topics and these questions will definitely gonna ask you into the interview, and that's why I've said, because I've not defined it here, I'm gonna explain it to you. So yield allows the current the thread to release its lock from the object, and scheduler gives the lock of the object to the other thread with same priority, whereas sleep allows the thread to go to sleep state for X million seconds. When a thread goes into sleep state, it doesn't release the lock. Then what is the difference between wait and sleep? So wait allows thread to release the lock and goes to suspended state. The thread is only active when a notify or a notify all method is called for the same object. Wait is a method of an object class. Then sleep allows the thread to go to sleep state for X million seconds. As I said, when a thread goes into sleep state, it doesn't release the lock. Sleep is a method of object class. So what is the difference between notify and notify all? Notify wakes up the first thread that called wait on the same object. Notify all wakes up all the threads that call wait on the same object. The highest priority thread will run the first. I think priority and all is also important. Now these are the questionnaire. Okay. Now there are two classes, A and B. The class B needs to inform a class A when some important event has happened. What Java technique would you use to implement it? If these classes are thread, we would consider notify or notify all. For regular classes, we can use the observer interface. So what is the purpose of the wait, notify and notify all methods? The wait, notify and notify all methods are used to provide an efficient way for threads to wait for the shared resources. When a thread executes an object wait method, it enters the waiting state. It only enters the ready state after another thread invokes the objects notify or notify all methods. What happens when you invoke a thread's interrupt method while it is sleeping or waiting? When a task interrupt method is executed, the task enter the ready state. The next time the task enter the running state, an interrupted exception is thrown. What happen if a start method is not invoked and the run method is directly invoked? Now you know, right? A new state, right? So that new state will only be active when a start method is called. So if it is not called and when run method is calling, okay? So if we do not call a start method on a newly created thread instead, thread is not considered to be alive, right? That I have told you in the previous slide. If the start method is not invoked, the run method is directly called on a thread instance. The code inside the run method will not run in a separate new thread, but it will start running in the existing thread. This is a very important question. So, okay, I cannot add it. So if a code running is a thread, in a thread creates a new thread, what will be the initial priority of the newly created thread? Okay, I think I missed out some questions. Okay, I'll again repeat. What happens if a start method is not invoked and the run method is directly invoked, that we have all completed? If a code running in a thread creates a new thread, what will be the initial priority of the newly created thread? So when a code running in a thread creates a new thread object, the priority of the new thread is set equals to the priority of the thread which has created it. So once a thread has been started, can it is started again? No. Only thread can be started only once in its lifetime. If we try starting a thread which has been already started once, an illegal thread state exception is thrown, which is runtime exception. A thread in a runnable state or a dead state thread can't be restarted. Can the start method of the thread class be overridden? If yes, it should be. If yes, should it be overridden? Then how it should be? That is what. Yes, the start method can be overridden, but it should not be overridden as implementation in thread class has the code to create a new executable thread and it's specialized. When JVM starts up, which thread will be started up first? When JVM starts up, the thread executing main method started. So what is object lock? Which object have locks? There are a few more questions which I wanted to. So what happens when the start method is called? So a new thread of execution with a new call stack start. Okay. The state of thread changes from new to runnable state as we have already seen it into the thread lifecycle. And when the thread gets a chance to execute, its target run method starts to run. I think that is something I understood. And then we have what is an object's lock and which object have locks? An object locks is a mechanism that is used by multiple threads to obtain synchronized access to that object. A thread may execute a synchronized method of an object only after it acquires the object's lock. So all objects in the classes have locks, and the class lock is acquired on the class objects. Acha, this is the question. So how many locks does an object have? Each object has one lock. If a thread goes to sleep, does it hold the lock? Yes, when the thread goes to sleep, it does not release the lock. When does a deadlock occur and how to avoid it? When a logged object tries to access a logged object, when it tries to access the first logged object, when a logged object, trying to access the first logged object, when the threads are waiting for each other to release the log on a particular object, deadlocks. So deadlock kab hota hai, like when it is happening. So when a logged object tries to access the log object, another log object, and which is trying to access the first logged object. So that is what happens. Logged object calling. So and the threads are waiting for each other to release the lock. When the threads are basically waiting for each other to release the lock. They are waiting. That's when deadlock happens. There are a lot of questions actually. Like I think there is like thread local variables, what is thread starvations, and if you need it, I'll add it in the slide, or maybe I'll have one more slide. If you need more questions, you really have to like it, and if I have more like, I'll definitely make a video on those topics, right? I have a lot of videos, but I don't see the interaction. So since I cannot come online or live, I need interaction with you guys. I can only see your comments and get motivated towards to make videos. And please guys, make it 10K, help me to grow my family, and that's kind of motivation, and I'll be really grateful, and I always have a gratitude towards you guys, and thank you to be the part of my this organic family. And I'm really happy to help you guys, and with my knowledge, or with my gathered knowledge as well. Yeah, thank you guys, and thank you for watching this video. And if you really need a slide, comment now. Don't comment after 2-3 months, because this will vanish. So yeah, thank you, bye.